Welcome. Today we're exploring the top 4 rare 1-cent Canada coins, each valued for different conditions, key mint marks, and special varieties that collectors are always searching for. From early large cents and low mintage issues to scarce small cent varieties and high-grade uncirculated examples, these Canadian pennies can be worth far more than their face value. Condition plays a major role, whether the coin is heavily circulated, lightly worn, uncirculated, or preserved in pristine mint state. Certain years, composition changes, and rare varieties significantly affect rarity and collector demand. Let's get started. First up, the 1986 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark, seen in circulated condition, a humble piece of copper that once passed quietly through everyday transactions yet now sparks excitement among collectors. The Canadian 1-cent coin, often lovingly called the penny, was a symbol of daily commerce for generations. By 1986, it had already been part of Canada's monetary system for more than a century, connecting families, businesses, and communities through simple exchanges. On the obverse side of the 1986 coin, you will see the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This effigy represents continuity and tradition within Canada's constitutional monarchy. The Queen's profile faces right, surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, a Latin phrase meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The portrait used during this era was designed by Arnold McKin, and it captures a youthful yet dignified image of the monarch. Even in circulated condition, you can often still see the refined details of the hair and facial features. Unlike some countries that display mint marks prominently, most Canadian pennies of this period do not show a traditional mint mark. The coin was produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, which is known worldwide for its precision and high-quality craftsmanship. Turning to the reverse side, you will find one of the most beloved symbols in Canadian coinage history, the maple leaf twig design. 2 delicate maple leaves hang from a single stem, representing Canada's natural beauty and national identity. Above the maple leaves is the word Canada, while the date 1986 appears below. The denomination 1 cent is placed proudly across the center. The design is simple yet meaningful, instantly recognizable to Canadians everywhere. The 1986 penny was composed primarily of copper-plated zinc during this period, giving it its familiar reddish-brown appearance. Over time, circulated coins often darken, developing rich tones that reflect years of handling. In circulated condition, this coin may show scratches, small nicks, and wear on the highest points of the design. The Queen's hair and the veins of the maple leaves are typically the first areas to lose sharpness. But these signs of wear tell a powerful story. This penny may have been used in grocery stores, school cafeterias, bus fares, and countless small purchases. It was part of everyday Canadian life. Collectors often examine the strike quality and surface preservation carefully. Even circulated examples can retain pleasing detail if they were well struck at the mint. The year 1986 does not immediately stand out as a key date in Canadian penny history, but condition and rarity factors always matter. Coins preserved in higher grades are far scarcer than heavily worn examples. Another exciting aspect of collecting is the possibility of mint errors. Occasionally, pennies are discovered with off-center strikes, doubled lettering, clipped planchets, or die cracks. Such errors can greatly increase a coin's desirability. The Royal Canadian Mint has a strong global reputation for producing high-quality coins. Even everyday circulation coins benefit from careful minting standards. As decades pass, coins from the 1980s are slowly transitioning from common change to nostalgic collectibles. What once seemed modern now represents a specific chapter of Canadian history. Many people remember when pennies were essential in daily transactions. Prices often ended in 1 or 2 cents, and jars filled with copper coins were common in homes. In 2012, Canada officially discontinued the penny, making earlier issues like the 1986 coin part of a completed historical era. This adds emotional and collectible value to surviving examples. When examining a circulated 1986 penny, originality is key. Collectors prefer coins that have not been cleaned or altered. Natural toning is often more desirable than artificial shine. Even though millions were produced, attrition over time reduces the number of well-preserved coins available today. Coins are lost, damaged, or discarded, making surviving pieces more meaningful. Some collectors build full-date runs of Canadian pennies, and the 1986 issue is an essential piece in completing that series. While most circulated 1986 Canadian 1-cent coins remain worth only a small premium above face value, the excitement lies in rare varieties or exceptional condition examples. Under magnification, subtle differences in lettering or die alignment can reveal collectible varieties. Careful study often rewards patient collectors. The emotional connection to the maple leaf design adds further charm. It is not just currency, it is a symbol of national pride. The warm copper color, even when darkened by time, carries a sense of history that modern plated steel coins cannot fully replicate. Collectors around the world continue to search through old jars and inherited collections, hoping to uncover overlooked treasures. Although common examples may hold modest value, rare mint errors or extraordinary high-grade pieces can reach impressive figures in auctions and private sales. And in truly exceptional circumstances, involving a rare verified error or remarkably preserved specimen, a 1986 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark in circulated condition could potentially command a value reaching $45,000. Next up, the 1973 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark, found in black circulated condition, a tiny piece of copper that carries decades of history, mystery, and surprising potential. The Canadian 1-cent coin has always been more than just currency. For generations, it represented everyday life across Canada, from small-town markets to busy city shops. In 1973, this humble penny was part of millions of daily transactions, quietly connecting people and communities. On the obverse side of the 1973 coin, you will see the graceful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This effigy reflects Canada's status as a constitutional monarchy and symbolizes stability and continuity. The Queen's profile faces right, surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, adding a formal and historic touch to the design. The portrait used during this time was created by Arnold Machin. Even in circulated condition, you can often still see the elegance in the Queen's features, although the highest points such as the hair and crown details may show wear from decades of handling. Unlike some coins that proudly display mint marks, most Canadian pennies of this era do not carry a visible mint mark. The coin was struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, an institution respected worldwide for its craftsmanship and innovation in coin production. Turning to the reverse side reveals one of the most beloved designs in Canadian coinage history, the iconic maple leaf twig. Two delicate maple leaves hang from a single branch, beautifully representing Canada's national symbol and natural heritage. Above the leaves, the word Canada is boldly displayed, while the denomination 1 cent appears across the center. The year 1973 sits below the leaves, marking this coin's place in history. The 1973 penny was composed primarily of bronze during this era, giving it a rich copper tone when newly minted. However, in circulated condition, especially in black coloration, the coin has developed deep, dark toning due to oxidation and years of exposure. That black appearance does not mean the coin is damaged. In fact, natural dark toning can add character and authenticity. It tells the story of time passing and of countless exchanges through different hands. In circulated condition, this coin will show wear on the highest parts of the design. The maple leaf veins may appear softer, and the Queen's portrait may show smoothing. Small scratches and contact marks are normal signs of real-world use. The year 1973 is interesting because it falls within a period when Canadian pennies were widely produced for heavy circulation. While millions were minted, survival in attractive or collectible condition always matters. Collectors often inspect these coins carefully for mint errors. Off-center strikes, doubled letters, die cracks, and other unusual features can dramatically increase value. Even a common date can become special if it carries a rare minting anomaly. The Royal Canadian Mint's reputation ensures that even circulation coins were struck with attention to detail. However, no minting process is perfect, and small variations sometimes slip through, creating collectible treasures. The black circulated appearance of this coin may actually appeal to certain collectors who appreciate original, untouched surfaces. Cleaning a coin can reduce its value, so natural aging is often preferred. Over time, Canada decided to discontinue the penny in 2012. This decision turned every earlier 1 cent coin, including the 1973 issue, into a piece of completed history. They are no longer being made, which adds nostalgic and collectible interest. Many families still have jars filled with old pennies stored in drawers or cupboards. Hidden among them could be coins with rare varieties or exceptional preservation waiting to be discovered. The simplicity of the maple leaf design makes it timeless. Even decades later, it remains instantly recognizable as a proud Canadian symbol. Collectors building a full-date set of Canadian pennies must include the 1973 issue. While it may not be a key rarity by itself, it is an essential piece of the historical puzzle. When evaluating value, condition plays a crucial role. Heavily worn coins typically hold modest worth, while examples with clearer details and minimal damage can command stronger premiums. Color also influences desirability. Some collectors prefer bright red copper tones, while others appreciate rich brown or even black natural patina that reflects age and authenticity. It is important to examine the edges as well. The plain edge of the coin should be consistent, without signs of alteration or damage. The thrill of coin collecting lies in the possibility that an overlooked piece of change could hold surprising value. That excitement drives collectors to search through rolls and inherited collections. Even though most 1973 Canadian 1-cent coins in black circulated condition are common and worth only a small amount above face value, the true excitement lies in rare mint errors or exceptional specimens. Occasionally, coins with unique production mistakes or extraordinary preservation can attract significant attention at auctions and among private collectors. As time continues to pass, coins from the 1970s gradually move further into the realm of history. What was once everyday currency becomes a tangible connection to another era. This tiny piece of bronze carries stories of 1973 Canada, from economic shifts to everyday purchases that are long forgotten but permanently recorded in its worn surface. And in extremely rare circumstances, involving a highly unusual mint error or an exceptionally preserved example authenticated by experts, a 1973 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark in black circulated condition could potentially reach an astonishing value of $45,000. Next up, the 1964 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark, preserved in very fine condition, a beautiful survivor from a different era that quietly carries history, artistry, and the possibility of impressive value. The Canadian 1-cent coin has long been a symbol of everyday life. In 1964, this small denomination was essential in daily transactions across the country. From corner shops to large department stores, pennies completed purchases and filled cash drawers from coast to coast. The year 1964 sits in an interesting period of Canadian history. It was a time of growth, modernization, and cultural change. Yet despite progress, the penny remained constant, a steady and familiar presence in people's pockets. On the obverse of the 1964 coin, you will find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This effigy reflects Canada's constitutional monarchy and its historical ties to the Crown. The Queen's profile faces right, and in very fine condition, many of the original details remain clear and elegant. The inscription Elizabeth II D.G. Regina surrounds the portrait. The lettering in very fine grade typically remains sharp and readable, with only moderate wear visible on the highest points such as the hair and crown. Unlike coins from some other nations, the 1964 Canadian penny does not display a traditional mint mark. It was struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, an institution respected worldwide for quality and precision in coin production. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most iconic designs in Canadian coinage history, the maple leaf twig. Two graceful maple leaves hang from a slender branch, symbolizing the nation's natural beauty and strong identity. Above the leaves is the word Canada, boldly placed. Across the center is the denomination 1 cent, and below the leaves appears the date 1964, marking its moment in time. In very fine condition, the veins of the maple leaves are still visible, though slightly softened by circulation. The edges of the leaves remain defined, giving the coin strong visual appeal. The 1964 penny was struck in bronze, composed mainly of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. When freshly minted, it displayed a rich reddish glow. Over time, exposure to air and handling causes the color to deepen into brown tones. In very fine grade, the coin shows moderate wear but retains most of its design detail. Washington's hair equivalent on Canadian coinage, the Queen's hair curls, and the maple leaf veins still appear distinct, though no longer razor sharp. Very fine condition is especially attractive to collectors because it balances affordability with clear detail. The coin has history and wear, yet still preserves its original character. Collectors carefully inspect coins from 1964 for any unusual features. While most examples are standard issues, mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks can significantly increase value. The Royal Canadian Mint maintained high production standards, But no minting process is entirely free from occasional mistakes. These rare variations are what collectors dream of discovering. Original surfaces are extremely important. A 1964 penny in very fine condition that has not been cleaned or polished is far more desirable than one with artificial shine. Natural patina adds authenticity. The plain edge of the coin should remain smooth and even. Any damage or alteration can reduce collectability and market appeal. By 1964, millions of pennies were produced for circulation. However, survival in higher grades becomes less common as decades pass and coins experience wear or are removed from circulation. In 2012, Canada officially discontinued the penny. This decision transformed older 1-cent coins like the 1964 issue into historical artifacts from a closed chapter in Canadian currency. Many people today still keep jars of old pennies at home. Within those jars, coins in very fine or better condition can stand out when examined carefully under proper lighting. Collectors building complete date sets of Canadian pennies consider the 1964 coin an essential part of the series. It represents the early 1960s, a time just before major national transformations later in the decade. The maple leaf design continues to evoke pride and recognition. Even decades later, it remains a powerful national symbol. The charm of a very fine 1964 penny lies in its balance. It has clearly lived a life in circulation, yet it still displays enough detail to capture the beauty of its original design. While the majority of 1964 Canadian 1-cent coins in very fine condition hold modest market value above face, certain examples stand apart due to exceptional preservation or rare minting characteristics. Professional grading services sometimes certify particularly strong coins, increasing buyer confidence and potentially boosting auction results. Collectors understand that rarity is often hidden in small details. Careful examination with magnification can reveal subtle variations in lettering or strike quality. The excitement of coin collecting lies in the possibility that a seemingly ordinary piece could hold unexpected value. That anticipation keeps enthusiasts searching through collections and estate finds. This small bronze coin from 1964 carries decades of history, silent transactions, and personal stories, all preserved within its worn yet dignified surface. And in extraordinarily rare cases, involving a highly unusual mint error or an exceptionally preserved specimen authenticated by experts, a 1964 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark in very fine condition could potentially command an astonishing value of $45,000. Next up, the 1979 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark, found in circulated condition, a simple piece of copper that once moved through countless hands yet still carries hidden stories and surprising potential. The year 1979 was a dynamic time in Canada. Technology was advancing, cities were expanding, and daily commerce was thriving. Through it all, the humble 1-cent coin remained a steady companion in everyday life, completing prices and filling pockets across the nation. This small coin may appear ordinary at first glance, but every detail on its surface reflects history and craftsmanship. It was struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, an institution known around the world for producing high-quality coins with precision and care. On the obverse side of the 1979 penny, you will see the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Her profile faces to the right, symbolizing stability and tradition. Even in circulated condition, the dignity of the design remains visible. The inscription Elizabeth II DG Regina surrounds the portrait, a Latin phrase that reinforces the historical and constitutional identity of Canada. In circulated grade, the lettering may show slight softness, but it usually remains clear and readable. The portrait used during this period captures a mature representation of the Queen. Although circulation wear may smooth the highest points of the hair and facial features, the overall design still holds strong character. Unlike coins from some other countries, the 1979 Canadian penny does not feature a visible mint mark. Its origin is understood through its national design rather than a specific mint letter. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most iconic images in Canadian numismatics, the maple leaf twig. Two maple leaves extend gracefully from a single stem, representing Canada's natural beauty and national pride. Above the leaves, the word Canada stands boldly. Across the center, the denomination 1 cent is displayed, and beneath the leaves rests the date 1979, permanently marking the coin's place in time. The 1979 1-cent coin was composed primarily of bronze, giving it a warm copper appearance when freshly minted. Over years of circulation, this bright tone gradually deepens into rich brown shades. In circulated condition, the coin will show signs of use. Small scratches, contact marks, and light smoothing on raised areas are expected. These marks are not flaws but evidence of real history. The maple leaf veins may appear softer than on an uncirculated coin, yet they remain recognizable. The edges of the leaves often retain enough detail to maintain visual appeal. Collectors value circulated coins differently from uncirculated examples. While they may not shine with mint luster, circulated coins carry authentic stories of everyday life. The late 1970s marked a period of heavy coin production to meet economic demand. Millions of pennies were struck, but survival in pleasing condition becomes less common as decades pass. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the possibility of mint errors. Even common dates like 1979 can become extraordinary if they feature doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other rare characteristics. Careful examination under magnification can reveal small details that make a big difference. What looks ordinary at first glance might hold a unique feature. Original surfaces are extremely important. Cleaning a circulated coin can reduce its desirability. Collectors often prefer natural toning that reflects honest age. The plain edge of the 1979 penny should remain consistent and smooth. Any unusual marks or damage along the edge can affect value. In 2012, Canada officially discontinued the 1-cent coin. This decision transformed all earlier pennies, including the 1979 issue, into historical pieces from a completed era. Today, many people still have jars of old pennies tucked away in drawers and closets. Among those coins could be examples in better-than-expected condition or even rare varieties. Building a full-date collection of Canadian pennies requires the 1979 coin. While not traditionally considered a rare key date, it remains a necessary chapter in the complete story of Canadian small cents. The beauty of the maple leaf design continues to inspire collectors. Its simplicity and symbolism make it timeless and unmistakably Canadian. Circulated examples may not carry bright mint shine, but they possess character that only years of real use can create. That authenticity adds a unique charm. Market value for most circulated 1979 Canadian 1-cent coins is typically modest. However, condition and rarity always influence price. Professional grading services can sometimes certify higher quality examples, offering collectors added confidence when buying or selling. The excitement of searching through old coins lies in the possibility that something extraordinary may be hiding in plain sight. Every detail matters. A simple bronze coin from 1979 can connect us to the daily routines, purchases, and personal stories of people who lived decades ago. And in extremely rare circumstances, involving a verified mint error or an exceptionally preserved specimen discovered among circulated pieces, a 1979 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark in circulated condition could potentially reach a remarkable value of $45,000.